This will be the final of 5 selected studies with positive outcomes by Su et al. 2005, and I apologize again if I'm saying that wrong. What they found is, or what they studied is the effect of heat removal via the hand on metabolism and performance. Their objective: can a palm cooling device reduce thermal strain and improve endurance performance in a cycling time trial in hot conditions? Important note, in hot conditions. So they had a 2-part experiment with trained cyclists. In the first study, they cycled for an hour at 60% of VO2 max in a warm room, so 32 degrees Celsius, quite warm, once with palm cooling and once without. And that was randomized. In the second study, a separate set of 8 similar athletes performed a 30-kilometer cycling time trial in the same heat with and without palm cooling. So set intensity for an hour versus set distance and time trial. The key findings is that in the steady state ride, palm cooling significantly blunted core temperature rise. Interestingly, 1.2 degrees Celsius versus 1.8 in the delta T, so the rise. So that's a 0.6 degrees Celsius difference. That's the same that was found in the 2012 study at Stanford. So very, very significant. Now they found that mean VO2 was 2.4 liters per minute with cooling versus higher, 2.7 without. Blood lactate was reduced with cooling, and other metrics like heart rate were unchanged. So interestingly, the cyclists maintained output with less metabolic cost. Now that's an interesting finding. In the 30-kilometer time trial, performance was improved with palm cooling. So finishing time was 6% faster. Now 6% may not sound to be that significant. It was 4 minutes over the course of roughly an hour. But these are trained cyclists competing in a time trial. 6%, 4 minutes is a sizable difference. So certainly not an insignificant improvement. And in the final 20% of the time trial, the cooled cyclist sustained 14% higher output for the same heart rate and core temperature as uncooled. So that is a significant finding. So we're going to look at tympanic temperature, and this is a chart from the study. So you can see here cooled with the white dots, and then no cooling, no intervention with the black squares. And throughout the course of the time trial, we're looking at that 60 minutes in the middle. Significant attenuation in the rise of core temperature. And that's where we find that difference of 1.2 to 1.8 at the end, a difference of 0.6 Celsius. So very, very large, 33% attenuation in the rise of core temperature. Lactate levels, same thing here. So they found that lactate levels increased at a lower rate and to a lower peak value throughout that same trial. And here we show time trial to completion. So in the non-cooled, 64.5 minutes versus 60.9. So a 4-minute difference, 6% faster in the 30-kilometer time trial. And during that time trial, the tympanic temperature, the same observation here, rise of core temperature attenuated throughout and resulting in a significantly lower core temperature during that 30-kilometer trial. And at the bottom is percentage. So that's not minutes, that is percentage of trial. The conclusions from the authors. Palm cooling in a hot environment reduced thermal and metabolic strain, allowed athletes to work more efficiently, and improved endurance performance. Not only did the device keep athletes cooler, but it also appeared to conserve more energy.